Nobody, no one, was prepared for what transpired at. One minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, thinking it's all spicy drama and scripted chaos, and the next minute you see young Jock in the front row, snotting, shaking, and mumbling words that no one could even understand. Wait, Jock, the same guy who laughed through cheating scandals, the man who called himself Mr. Swag, juggling baby mamas like mixed apes, yes, that one. He broke down in public at a funeral for a woman he once embarrassed on national television. What happened? Jock's tough guy persona crumbled like a stale biscuit in gravy. What actually transpired between him and KD behind the scenes? Why are people claiming that his tears were not just about guilt but also about exposure? Because believe us, the internet went crazy the moment those tears hit the church floor. Was it grief, regret, or something more profound? Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning? Oh, hold on, we're only getting started. Let's be clear, hip hop and love have given us scandals, breakups, flying drinks, wigs snatched mid-sentence, and much more. Young Jock, the young Jock who once juggled baby mamas and still managed to show up to the club in a velvet durag as though life was easy, was in the front row barely holding it together on the day Khadiyah KD Lewis was laid to rest. However, at this funeral, life slapped him across the face. The man broke down so hard that church staff were looking for a mop, not for the floor, but to clean up the emotional mess this man left behind. If you're wondering why Jock, who treated KD like a side quest while playing the main plot with multiple women, suddenly turned into a Shakespearean tragedy figure, well, grab you have obviously never seen KD Lewis in action if you believe. She was only a supporting character in Jock's drama-filled storyline. She wasn't just a reality star, she was a full-fledged fireball in heels when she entered the worlds of hip-hop and love. She wasn't just drama, she was drama. She stood 10 toes down, ran her businesses, and clapped back harder than a preacher at a Sunday service. When it was announced that she had died at the age of 44, fans went into complete and sudden silence. However, the headlines, tributes, or even her old Savage clips went viral again. The moment Young entered the funeral, saw her casket, and collapsed like a folding chair from a dollar store, people assumed Jock would say a few polite words or even post a black and white selfie with a caption that read, "R.I.P. Queen." Instead, the man sobbed and showed off his entire personality. People in the back were whispering, "Yo, who knew he had it in him?" while others weren't. They were filming. Social media exploded as young Jock wept for the woman he dug out on national television. The drama really starts when someone checks on him and reminds him of what he did to her in season 4. This is because every emotional breakdown has a backstory full of gaslighting and guilt games, and Jock was neck deep in it. Let's go back in time to the messy tape, shall we? Jock and KD were the couple that made fans scream at their screens. One minute they were cuddling, and the next minute KD was dragging Jock for cheating with his baby mama, Cena. The crazy part was that Jock pretended that it was normal for a jock to sleep with their ex while dating a boss woman. However, KD stood up for that man and defended him. She thought he would mature and love her at last, but spoiler alert, he didn't. He repeatedly humiliated her on camera. However, people didn't see the scenes that weren't edited, the times she sobbed in her car, the times she doubted her value, the breakdowns off camera, the pain they didn't show, and now that she's gone, Jock has become the poster boy for regret. Now that you remember the woman who always had your back, you can see convenient witnesses, and by witnesses, we mean cousins. With according to sources, who are people standing 5 pews away, Jock had to be helped back to his seat. He sat down with his face in his hands, shaking his head as if he were trying to undo every mistake he had ever made. According to Instagram accounts and iPhones, the scene was extremely emotional and almost too raw for reality. One guest told an anonymous blog, "I've never seen Jock like that. He wasn't just crying, he looked lost, as if the realization that he would never see her again broke him." The rumors started because, according to some, Jock wasn't just sad about KD's passing, he was also sad about what he had lost long ago, that, in spite of the breakups, scandals, and disrespect, KD was the only person who truly knew him. The only woman who saw through the TV persona's gaudy jokes and flexes was the one who tried to love the broken version of him. However, the question that keeps coming up is why he waited until her passing to act as though he cared. Was it out of guilt or a desperate PR attempt? Remember, this is the same man who once went viral for cheating on KD and laughing about it. Who told her, "You knew what it was" when she confronted him on live TV? As a result, fans are not accepting the tears at face value. Some claim they are genuine, while others claim it's karma. At KD's last party, Jock was crying into his sleeve, but there were also discussions about the pressures KD was under before she passed away and how reality TV might have contributed more to her demise than anyone anticipated. Brings us right into the next chapter of this messy story, where Katie's last days, her social media red flags, and the industry's chilly response fall under the spotlight because of the events leading up to the funeral, which may have been even more upsetting than the actual funeral. Katie Lewis's death left fans not only stunned but also perplexed and searching for answers in the silence. While young Jock was crying during the funeral, the rest of the world was quietly piecing together a different story, one that was much darker, heavier, and devoid of commercial breaks or background music. There was no reunion episode to explain what went wrong, no confessionals, just absence and suspicion. One by one, those close to KD started to break social media's ambiguous captions, but now every post from KD in the last few weeks reads like a warning: no one caught her. She was tired, struggling, and, most chilling of all, she had just started therapy days before she passed. That one detail stopped people in their tracks because therapy means she was trying. Initially, it was Whisperer's friends, castmates, hairstylists, makeup artists, and others who said she hadn't been herself. Her laugh had grown quieter, her energy had diminished, and she wasn't showing up for events. When first responders arrived, Katie's house was too quiet. There was no chaos, no flashing lights, just the low wail of sirens and one or two desperate phone calls, no paparazzi swarming her front yard, no public scene, and she had already passed away. A close friend anonymously shared that KD texted her the night before she died, saying, "Pray for me." The friend didn't think much of it, but the next morning, that text would haunt her. When news broke online, it was too late, and the questions only got louder. What happened? Where was everyone? Why didn't anyone step in? Social media detectives were working non-stop. Bloggers were frantically posting on Reddit, and some people claimed it was an accident. Others whispered about mental health, but no one could verify anything. There was no official cause of death, no family statement, just silence, and the internet filled in the blanks. One former member of the Love and Hip Hop crew who wished to remain anonymous said something that made people shudder. "Spines, if you weren't crying or fighting, you weren't useful." That meant that if KD wasn't crying on camera, she didn't have value for the plot, so she had to keep the drama going even though it hurt her. She wasn't the only one, but she might have paid the highest price. Leaked direct messages began to circulate. KD sent messages to producers pleading for a break, saying things like, "I need to breathe, I don't think I'm okay." The response was, "Let's just get through this season." Compared to her life, it became evident that KD was more than just another reality TV personality. She was a woman who was quietly falling apart behind the scenes while everyone around her pretended not to notice, as that is how the industry operates. Young Jock was there filming scenes, laughing on air, and moving on, acting as though KD was just a chapter he had already turned. However, when she passed away, his guilt caught up with him, and the tears that spilled from his eyes at the funeral weren't just grief. They were the result of a man being haunted by. During the aftermath, a tweet went viral saying, "Katie died trying to be strong." Jay cried while trying to look sorry, but it hit hard because it felt like the truth. Katie's closest friends knew something was wrong, but they didn't know how. One friend claimed that she hadn't heard Katie's real laugh in weeks, while another said that she sounded empty on the phone. One chilling message stood out, saying that even though she was still here, she sounded like she was already gone. Perhaps the most unsettling moment was when someone disclosed that KD had made a cryptic voice. Notably, the day before her death, it wasn't a farewell, it wasn't even emotional, it was just too quiet, and perhaps that's the scariest part. It wasn't a dramatic end, it was silent and invisible, as most mental health breakdowns are. Katie didn't fade and vanish before anyone realized it was happening. The internet's response was overwhelming. Fans were incensed, blaming producers, the network, and even her co-stars. They played back old videos of KD being made fun of, dismissed, and pushed to the limit, and they began to ask the real questions. Why didn't anyone help? Why was her pain treated? As a fan wrote, "You gave her airtime but not support. Now you give her a tribute. Keep it." Another said, "KD was more than ratings. She was a person. She needed help, not camera angles." The hashtags #justice for KD, #protect reality stars, and #mental health matters trended for a moment, but it wasn't just about her anymore, it was about all of them. The women who cry off camera, the men who fake smiles, the personalities shaped for drama and discarded when the time comes. Intentional or not, young Jock's breakdown went viral, and every frame of him wiping his face and holding back sobs as he left the service was replayed 1,000 times. While some people sympathized, others saw it differently. "Now you and she needs you?" A leaked message claimed that Jock texted someone close to KD after her death, saying that she deserved better from me and from all of us. That message struck a chord because it wasn't performative, it felt like a man confronting an unavoidable truth. Notice the indications that the message was sent too late. Her final Instagram story had the words, "I'm tired," on a black screen. The fact that she died slowly, quietly, and without anyone claiming to care is perhaps what hurts the most. Wasn't just a celebrity loss, it was a warning, a wake-up call, and if the industry doesn't listen now, KD won't be the last. That's all. At the time, people thought it was poetic, but now it reads like a eulogy that no one realized they were reading in real time. The hashtags have slowed down, but the questions they raised have only increased. Katie Lewis may be gone, but the chaos she left behind is still very much alive. The truth is that reality TV didn't just fail her, it ate her up and spit her out, then had the gall to air a tribute special as if it was closure, but isn't closure, it's exposure. Let's face it, when Katie walked onto the set of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, she wasn't some shy, wide-eyed rookie, she was a boss who didn't play parts. Instead, she played people who played her. The audience saw the memes, the vicious clapbacks, and the viral moments, but they missed the silent weeping and emotional labor that KD carried while producers continued to yell, "More drama, more tears." Worse was developing behind the smoke and mirrors. Leads us to the most repulsive aspect of the entire situation. The industry knew it was coming but chose to ignore it. According to reports leaked by former production assistants, KD had been requesting a wellness clause in her contract. She allegedly wanted time to leave the set during filming if she felt overwhelmed. Sounds reasonable, right? They denied it because it seems that her breakdowns were more effective at generating ratings than her boundaries. One former employee shared, anonymously, that we were instructed to push buttons if someone was spiraling and to lean into it rather than back off if it became too real. The camera didn't stop for anyone, and now that Katie is dead, they want us to think that this was unpredictable. The only when it would occur. If it weren't the producers, network executives, handlers, and confessional interviewers, they all played a part. And now they're all acting foolishly by posting depressing images, altering profile pictures, and lighting virtual candles in a way that erases the blood on their hands. Even Jock, who has by now become the story's emotional punching bag, is finding it difficult to deal with the fallout. Some fans think his breakdown was real, while others claim it was delayed guilt. Jock is grieving not only for the woman he lost but also for the way he treated her while she was alive. What's crazy, though, is that since Katie's passing, Jock hasn't spoken in public since a few private messages and one tearful video that was quickly removed. "I thought I had more time. I thought we could talk again. I never got to say I'm sorry," he said, looking broken, not performative, not dramatic, just lost. That line resonated because, for a man who built his entire persona around jokes and diversions, that was the first time fans saw the real him, not Jock the rapper, not Jock the cast member, just a man standing in front of the truth, raw and shaking. But the public, oh, they weren't feeling forgiving. They dragged Jock, they dragged the show, they dragged the system, and somewhere in the middle of all this, it felt like just another plot twist. The internet was breaking down Katie's life like an episode, but her family was grieving like real people, and the real people are the ones left with the pieces. Katie wasn't just a character. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, a fighter, and a flawed but fierce woman who tried to hold it all together while the world prodded and prodded for content. Now that she's gone, all we have are tribute videos, viral sound bites, and the silence that spoke louder than anything else. While the shows earn millions of dollars, what do the stars get? A broken heart, a bad reputation, or a funeral? The hashtags haven't stopped. If anything, they've evolved now. Hashtag protectorsters, hashtag reality needs reform, and hashtag no more KD. Fans are furious, and rightfully so, because isn't just about KD anymore. It's about every reality TV star who's been reduced to a meltdown, every cast member who's been pressured to be the antagonist, the emotional wreck, the unhinged one, and there were times we'd film scenes just hours after panic attacks, and nobody cared. You either performed or you got cut. That's the reality of reality TV, and now there's pressure. Real pressure. Fans are demanding change. Mental health professionals are calling for on-set therapists. Activists are demanding contracts that protect emotional well-being. This isn't just about one woman anymore, it's about a whole genre that thrives off pain and drama but offers no healing. And make no mistake, the industry hears the noise. Executives are holding quiet meetings. Crisis PR, because if they believe this will go away, they are mistaken. Katie Lewis was more than just a trending topic. She was the last straw, the wake-up call, and the unfiltered truth, and the fans are wide awake. Now. We saw her hurt, we saw her try, we saw her fade, and we will not let her be forgotten. Her story won't be buried beneath another season of chaos. Her name won't be reduced to a moment. Her life mattered. Her pain mattered. Now, the industry has two options, evolve or implode. Nothing changes, and another KD is already breaking right now behind the cameras, behind the edits, and behind the smile, and they're told to keep going. When that story ends, there won't be a script to fix it. This time, we demand better. This time, we remember her name, Katie Lewis. She brought fire, carried too much, and passed away too soon. Let it hurt, let it change something, or let it haunt you, because if we let this go, we're all contributing to the issue. The next time the funeral may be for someone else we thought was fine, so until then, remember her and do better. Right now, what are we really doing? Will we continue to ignore people suffering and call it just TV? Will we continue to celebrate breakdowns like their award-winning performances? Or will we finally acknowledge that what happened to KD Lewis wasn't a twist but rather a tragedy? You posted her savage moments and laughed when she clapped back, but when she went silent, no one paid attention. Reality TV is no longer just entertainment, it's turning into a machine that consumes people and buries them in silence, and Katie is the proof. What will you do? Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and start a conversation, because silence killed her. Silence is no longer an option. Do you think the show should have done more? Do you think her friends let her down? Do you think the industry should finally protect its stars instead of pushing them off the edge? Tell us below, and if you truly care, hit the like button and subscribe to stay with us, because we're not just telling stories here, we're exposing the truth that they try to hide behind the glitz and drama. Justice for KD isn't just a hashtag, it's a movement, and this time we won't let